Hey everybody, how we doing today? Figured get started. Hope everybody had a good week. I would love some suggestions on what else to talk about. There's only one thing I know for sure I wanted to talk about, which is the one bug that we were seeing this week, which ended up not even really being a bug. It ended up just kind of being an issue on someone else's end. But this isn't the first time we've heard of the similar issue. Essentially what was happening is folks with fairly strict antiviruses, anti-malware programs, the two that we saw were Norton and Malwarebytes, were getting their deliverables were getting flagged as malicious, so their clients couldn't download their deliverables. We had, like I said, this is probably the third time in about a month that we've heard this. And so we just wanted to go through and let everybody know what's up. Our system on our end is fine. We have our security license that our sites go through. And so the folks that were seeing this issue, this is less for you to be concerned about our system. It's more so just something to be aware of in the future. My brand, their white labeled deliverables were getting flagged. And because their white labeled deliverables were getting flagged, their clients couldn't get their products. But the Fusion links, so the RTV links, were working just fine. Those RTV links were, like I said, working fine. And we did a little digging and we found someone who was blacklisted by Norton, and they didn't even know. So we were just going through websites thinking, who else might have a domain that throws up a flag? And so what we wanted to do is, I just wanted to come on and tell you how to most effectively check for that. And we were having some folks. The issue there, like I said, there was nothing on our end that was going wrong. Their sites just had some flags. It wasn't even there. It wasn't the attachment to the system. We had one guy get a hold of his the company he pays to host his site, and they didn't even see anything on their end. So it was just a false flagged from security companies, like I said, Malwarebytes and Norton. So Norton has something called SafeWeb, which you can check your own website yourself. It's safeweb.norton.com. So this is the Norton Safe website. So when we were putting these folks' addresses in, they were returning with this X, which means it's a flagged site. And I was testing some sites to see if there was anything that I could get to throw a flag, but I can't get any more. So you're probably not going to see what a flag looks like, but I will show you what it looks like. So say we had a concern about our site, we could just say Realtor Vision.com. Norton says, oh, okay, so here's what we're seeing. Here's what's up. SafeWeb has analyzed the site and it's ready to go. We're not seeing any issues. And you might even want to use this in the other direction. Excuse me. If you do find a site that might have a concern, you can submit a dispute, be it a concern for your own safety, or if it was a site that you found that was supposed to be safe that wasn't, or a site that's safe but was registered as not safe. And so there's a dispute process. And so we, on behalf of our clients, submitted a dispute to Norton, and they had, they didn't say why there was a flag, so we didn't get any more info there. They say here, dispute resolution could take up to 2 days, and you will receive email confirmation once validated. We saw it in about 4 hours. The site was back up and running. and the flags are no longer there. So that's a great way to, we recommend everybody check out their site, because if your site is using white labeling and you're sending deliverables to someone with these antiviruses, they might not be getting through. Of course, you would probably hear from your client if that was the case. So if you haven't heard, it's probably not a concern, but I couldn't hurt to check. Or if you have a client who gets their deliverables differently, I just worth checking. Spent the last couple days trying to figure that one out. So just figured we would share what we've discovered with you on this webinar. Again, that site is safeweb.norton.com. You can put in whatever site you want. We could, of course, the big ones are probably going to be okay, Wikipedia and stuff like that. You'd probably have to dig to find something with a flag. But the folks whose sites were flagged didn't have anything in relation. So, and we couldn't find any correlation to why they might be flagged. So just something to be aware of. And if your person doesn't have a very strict antivirus, it's not like the site was infected, it was just saying it was infected, which is why we had to issue the dispute for our clients. So, like I said, you're probably okay. It's worth checking, but it's not the end of the world even if you are flagged. Like I said, it took just a couple hours to get that dispute resolved. So he really wasn't down for the count for too long. And he only had one client report it. So it just seems like stricter antiviruses might throw things like that. So I just figured we'd let you know how to check if you do hear that and how to get a resolution. And different sites flag things differently. Malwarebytes will flag a site differently than Norton will. So if you're getting flagged by multiple things, you would probably have to confirm with both of those parties that you're not very safe, or that you are safe, but they're giving you a fake warning or a bad warning. Or you might actually have something to figure out regarding your site security. So just figured I'd start out the webinar with that. That's pretty much the way we found to figure that out. But yeah, we were really happy with how quick the turnaround was. We could not figure out a single reason why they were throwing flags, and we still haven't heard from a couple of clients who were having the issue originally. So we would just have to hopefully work, but it's working on our end. I installed Norton for testing. It was throwing flags and now it's not anymore, as you can see. So good to go there. Anyway, how's everyone doing today? Does anyone have any questions? I'll give it a little sec for a couple questions. Have they fixed the issue with Easy MLS for Canada? Easy MLS is currently not being prioritized just because Canada had broke, but then US broke too. So hopefully we're going to move that up in priority. But yeah, Easy MLS is currently still down, but it's down for the US as well. So it's one of the trickiest things we have to program, just because every time they change something, it messes up our code. So unfortunately, stuff gets changed on the back end a lot. We don't see it. Yeah, I'm thank you for your question. I'm glad I could help. Yeah, but right now, still not working. What would we like to talk about today? That was pretty much the only thing I had hard planned. We're working hard. We're getting new storefront features set up, such as multiple storefronts, scheduling, as you're aware of. Those are going to be hopefully within the next month or so. Couldn't say for sure. We are looking for a new programmer, so we'll see. But the two that we do have are doing great. They're tackling the bugs as we see them. So. Is there any specific topics anyone wants to talk about, or any questions about anything in the system? I see a lot of folks here who weren't here for the storefront, webinar. I could go over storefront a little more, talk about users or the order system. Okay. Yep, seeing some comments for storefront, so we can do that as well. So I'm making a new tutorial video for storefront on sort of the steps on how to get started, but I can walk you through those here quickly as well. There's a couple things required for storefront, and then there's a couple things that are highly recommended but not necessarily required. Required for storefront use is a payment gateway. And so if you head to your settings and then go all the way down, we have online payment settings down here. Excuse me. These are where you set up your payment terminals. So these are the different services you can use to receive payment through our system. RTV takes no cut from any purchase made through our system. The only way you're paying us is through those tour credits. So we're not taking anything off the top of any transaction that goes through us. The rate that you would pay for a transaction would be through these. Just like you would pay a rate on a credit card terminal in a retail location. And they give a very good breakdown on the rates, which we have linked right on that very page. So I don't know why Stripe always takes a bit to load, but so here's Stripe, for example. They've got different packages, 2.9% plus 30 cents per successful card charge. So that's their rate. Other rates differ. You can factor that into your pricing, especially if your storefront purchases are made separately from the rest of your purchases. But that's one thing to keep in mind. So they have different rates for different businesses, but that's sort of the flat rate, pay as you go. PayPal rates are pretty similar. Yeah. I was looking at it just the other day. There it is. Okay. So there's two account types, an advanced and a standard. They're pretty much the same. No, Quickbooks is not yet available. I will message the devs to see where they're at on that. But Quickbooks will be soon, but is not yet. So right now, Stripe, PayPal, and Square. So here's PayPal. A little higher rate, so 3.5 plus 50 cents per transaction on PayPal payments. But for credit cards, it's actually a little different. So the advanced only pays a 2.59 plus 49. The standard pays 2.99. And then advanced also has chargeback protection baked into that. So you're getting that extra 0.4, that extra savings goes to chargeback protection. So there's PayPal rates, and Square's pretty similar. You can take online pricing, so it would be remote payments here. Yeah, so all their different rates: card not present, afterpay, invoices, terminal. So if you do end up getting like a Square reader, they actually have point of sale systems, which you could do. You certainly wouldn't have to, but there's little swipes you can actually just plug right into your phone, and you can take swipes right there. So that wouldn't have anything to do with your online storefront. It would just be a different way to take payment. And then there's also contactless, chip cards, full stands, full registers. Yeah, so lots of different options to get started with Square. Square has a few more options. And then once you read the rates, if one of those interests you, you can hit sign up here, and that'll bring you to making the account. And you can sign up to receive payments through that terminal. And then once, I've only set up personally on this account PayPal because it was the quickest to do so, but I'm also not taking payments like you would be. Square and Stripe ask for a little bit more information. I think they want like business license numbers, LLCs. They want a little more information, whereas PayPal is just like, what are you? What type of payments are you going to receive? How would you like to receive them? It's a little simpler. So simpler setup with PayPal for sure. But once you have all of that, we have the steps for each terminal right under help. And so here's a full list of what you would have to do to get Square set up. And then once you have everything that this calls for, you can configure and put what you need and what you have in those little boxes. And so those are called IDs and secret IDs. API keys is another one. Secret keys. If you had this entire code, you could hypothetically jack my money if I was receiving money, but I'm not, so I'm not super worried about it. And these are long codes anyway, like 60 plus digits. So it's not a high concern. It's like a Bitcoin address. It's a huge number. So, and then once you have that set up, you can just hit select to select the one that you added, and then you can hit save, and that saves that information. So that's setting up the payment processor. To receive money through storefront, that is required. But then it would appear, so I have PayPal set up like you saw, then to you, it would appear just like a PayPal on a regular checkout. It would appear as a enter credit card or log in with PayPal, and you can just go and sign in right there. And so PayPal I like because a lot of people use PayPal. Their card's already saved. They might even have their login saved on the device. Whereas these are just more card processing. Yeah, we're really excited about QuickBooks. We've just got to get the final couple steps. So payment processing is required. This next thing for storefront is not required, but is highly recommended. I know most people have done it, but not everybody has, is you can white label your storefront. So just like you white label your tours, you can white label your storefront as well. It's a DNS, just like your My Brand for your tours. It's just giving them a URL to go to. So we see a lot of folks will have tours or links or whatever .theirbusinesshere.com, whereas storefront they might have store, they might have market, they might have orders. I've seen a lot. So storefront is a separate My Brand from your main My Brand. And so that's, instead of saying, oh yeah, my storefront link is manage.realtourvision.com/storefront/client ID, whatever. You say, oh, it's orders.mybusiness.com. Pretty easy, right? So we really recommend getting that storefront set up. Or the white labeling set up, excuse me. Questions so far before we go to the next step? I think most of us are good for now. I do get notified if there's a question, so I won't ignore you. Next, required for storefront. This is just highly recommended, but not required. Required is packages and add-ons. These are what you're selling in the storefront. We've talked about these a couple of times, but it never hurts to go over them again because they are important for the storefront. So we see a lot of folks with established photography businesses will have similar packages and add-ons on their main website, their main URL. So they might have been receiving payment through their own website for a while now rather than through ours. Ours is just nice because when a purchase is made, it creates an order, it creates a project, it lets you know that you've got an order. All you have to do is get a hold of them and schedule and go shoot the pictures and get that handled. You really don't have to do much in the system at all if you've got your default set all correct. So packages and add-ons are what you sell. So if you have these on your site already, it shouldn't be too tough to convert them over. We are still working on a couple things for the packages and add-ons that we don't quite have fleshed out yet. One of which is mileage costs included in the payment or in the purchase process. So when you're going through the storefront, you say, the property is located here, and then it's going to calculate mileage from the photographers or the dealer's address, and it can add that into the cost. But we're not there yet. So we do have some folks who are holding back on it until features like that are enabled, and I don't blame them. Because right now there are ways to get that same idea, but it's a little less intuitive. So these are the packages. As you can see, I've got 5. The prices don't mean anything because I'm not a business person. So these are the packages, and what I will do is I'm going to log into my storefront as one of my agents. Don't know who that guy is. Okay. So this is what a non-my branded storefront looks like. It's kind of a mess. So that's why we recommend getting it set up. Again, you can skip it. I wouldn't. This is my storefront. It's not the most attractive thing in the world, but it works. So here I've got, a link to my Facebook page or my business Facebook page, whatever it might end up being. So here's your title. So that's the storefront page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sign in as this agent just to show you what the packages look like when you're in the storefront. Pardon the gibberish names. Here we are in the storefront. Okay. So this is what a fully set up storefront looks like. Mine is fully set up in every way other than the fact I'm not a professional photographer. So first things first, we'll chuck in an address. Same as when you're creating a project, it's going to autofill with local results. So I could say, we'll just do RTV. So you saw that, I put 184, and there's RTV right there. I could do 1600 Penn. Famous address in the US. Just say, hey, is this it? And I'm going to say, yeah, it looks good. If the red marker is incorrect, drag it to the proper location. So yeah, 1600 Pennsylvania is the White House. So that looks correct. But if I wanted to, I could, move it over here if that's more accurate. But just because it's not, I'm going to skip that. So you've got options. You don't have to do any of this. But I shouldn't say you don't have to do any of this. Your client will be seeing this. And if that's the correct address, great. So there we go. So yep, that's the right address. Go from there. It's going to ask details about the property. So these are going to be going on the information page for your project, just like you normally would add yourself. Single family, it's occupied. I would put in my MLS number here if I had one. Just Sudoku it. Got my square footage. 1,000. It's 5 acres, and it's for sale for $1.2 million. And then I've got special instructions. So me as the client can say, this house has a really, really cool, whatever it might be, really tricked out garage, really cool playground, play set in the back, really cool path to the beach. So if you as the client might want to hear a little more information about that, that's where you're going to put it. So say, do this photo, this photo, this photo, but we need, and I know a lot of these MLS listings and a lot of the tours that are created in our system don't have garage photos, which I get from like an aesthetic standpoint, but as a car guy, I kind of want to know what the garage looks like before I buy a house. So not necessarily a unique problem, but if I, the real estate agent, know that you're probably not going to take pictures of the garage, this is where I would tell you to do that. Garage. Continue. And here we arrive on our packages and add-ons. So different types of packages and add-ons appear differently. So here's my $1 package and add-on. Here is my free package and add-on. And so that's what these look like in the storefront. And we'll come back to that once we make some. So let's go to packages and add-ons. Okay. So, of course, I got 5 already. I can reorganize them if I want. Here, I'll put this basics package at the bottom. Oops. Or lower, I should say. So there's basic package. And I think it should reflect that. Oh, not yet. Maybe I'm missing a save button. Okay. Any questions before I go any further? Next step is a new package. Give it a sec for questions while I sip some water. All right, nothing yet. So I'll move on, but I'll if I hear one, I will answer it. So name, pretty self-explanatory. My second, pardon my typing. my second package. And so then is, how would you like this add-on to be added to the cart? We've got 6 options. Free explains itself. It doesn't have a cost associated. That's what this is. I just select. That's it. That's a free package. Single item add to cart. 1 item, 1 price, $100. Single item add to cart, right here. 1 price, 1 item. Select quantity option. I got a max quantity, so I'd say I wouldn't ever do more than 30 or whatever it might end up being, I don't know. So I might say it's 10, and I want it to be $15 a piece. I don't think I have a select quantity on here. I think I do in the add-ons. Let me just confirm. Yeah, here it is. So here it is in select quantity form. So this is select quantity. It's got the price listed. It's got how many I can get. Select quantity option with base price. You know, first 10 are $100. Everyone after that is an additional 15. So max quantity, we'll do 20. First one, it's $100. Everyone after, it's 15. Here's a base price is 100. Everyone after, it's 25. So far, so good. We did free specific option selection. Here we're given different options and we can set different prices. So I'll say this is, you know, small home. We'll do medium home. Large home. And then I could say this one's 150. Pardon my typing again. 250. 350. So that would appear as this. This option is 30. This option is 35. 30, 35. Whereas it would be small home is 150, medium 2, large 350. So far, so good. Like I said, we did free, and then price per square foot is nice. This would be good for things that are more difficult for larger things. Home renders, virtual staging, digital renovations, things like that that are dependent on square footage. Doll houses, floor plans. I think I said those already. Yeah, here we'll say it's 50 cents per square foot. And then myself as so we'll see this one is price per square foot. Please add property size in details. See that? So this one is 25 per square foot. It took that price per square foot that we put in on the previous page. 25.25 cents times 5,000. 1250. That's math. Okay. So that is price per square foot. That is the final of the 6 price options. So we'll do this one 50 cents per square foot. All right, next up, tax category. Is it a physical good or a service? That's a service. Package status, active, inactive. This determines whether or not it appears on your storefront. So if I'll set this inactive for now. Average service duration is also an important step. Right now, it doesn't really do anything. But once we add scheduling is when average service duration is really gonna come into its own. So once you have scheduling, someone can select a package. They see that it's you allot whatever, an hour and a half for that specific type of job. So then what it does, calculates your distance to the job, hour and a half, distance back. So once this calendar is live, it can look for those open gaps and slot that right in there if you're comfortable with that. And then once calendar is live, you'll be able to set up just like a calendar with your jobs. You'll be or service hours. Excuse me. So you'd say, yeah, I'll do a job on Saturday, but only if it takes less than 2 hours between 3 and 5. So you've got those options. So like I said, right now, once it does nothing, but you're gonna put in minutes, so there's 90 minutes for a half hour. Short description, that is this description you're seeing right here. That is the short description. Or no, excuse me, that's the long description. The short description is when you're in the cart. That's the short description. So remember I said I had set up PayPal and only PayPal? There it is. So someone could pay with their PayPal account, or they could just put in their credit card information and PayPal would process it for you. I'm sorry, I'm jumping around, but yeah, so that's the short description for the package. That's pretty sure it appears on the invoice too. You might have to check me on that one. Short description. Quick little package for webinar. Typing is not the best today. Great. Image. Right now, only one image supported. The idea is that you'll see one here, you'll see a different one here, you'll see a different one here, right? Or a different one here, different one here. But right now, only one is going to be visible. But before I talk too much without being 100% sure, let me confirm. So you can browse, you can upload your own media to that icon. Of course, as you can see, I've got just a random picture of a beach I have for a lot of testing purposes. I've got that uploaded there. Or if you hit default, we at RTV have created a bunch of different kinds. And you can use this as a great starting off point, because if you are an RTV customer, which I believe most people here should be, we have in Rockpoint Marketing, which you might be familiar with, we actually have given you and Rockpoint is our secondary marketing service. It is 2 different ways to pay, $400 a year, or you can pay as you go. If you plan on using everything in there, we do recommend the yearly. But if you're only using 1 or 2, pay as you go is going to be okay. But at a certain point, the balance will shift. So let's go to marketing materials. And in marketing materials, we actually have those shopping cart icons. We've got the Photoshop file for all of those. So you can download them, match them to your color scheme, change the name, redesign the whole thing. So with no subscription, that'd be $20. With a subscription, you just download that for free. I say for free, it's with the subscription, the $400 a year. But there's lots of great materials in here. I think it's like 100 and some webinars at this point. There's 94 formulas and then even more images through the lens, tour track. There's just so much content on how to use the RTV system, how to become a better real estate photographer, and how to really make your photography business shine. So we do recommend you check that out. rockpointmarketing.com. Anyway, that was a detour, but those defaults you can get for yourself here. Questions before I move on? And then the final thing for creating packages and add-ons is the full form description. So this is the longest description of the service that's going to appear when they select it. Okay, so there that is there. That is the package done. This could now be sold. So I will hit, well, it couldn't be sold because it's inactive, but I did that for a reason. So we'll keep it inactive, I'll hit save. Then we can select add-ons. So you don't have to add every add-on to every package because you can see, say I select the free package, I get all the add-ons, but if I select the deluxe, I have fewer options. Oops. No. I know I was going for Pennsylvania Avenue. We'll just stay in Michigan for now. So free package, select that. I've got 2 add-ons for this. But if I were to deselect the free and select the basic, I have more options. So if one package includes the floor plan, you would probably not want to have the floor plan as an add-on for that package. Everything making sense so far? There's that package we made. So what I can do is on this package, I'm satisfied with this first page. I'll go to the second page of add-ons. You can see I can create an entirely new add-on, which uses almost the same interface as creating the package. Same 6 price options, same service type, same duration, same icons and descriptions. Or I can browse from the ones I've created for other projects and I can add them to this. Just like that. Finally is variants. Variants appear in the storefront like this. So we can see this one is, ooh, this, whoa, fancy. But then there's the deluxe version. And so that's the variant. And so the variant, the way that I have pitched this to people, the downside is it does kind of require a little bit of honesty on the part of your agents and your clients. I think personally, the way I would use this is just like this. And so it would be basic, small, medium, large home, or small, medium, large, and then they are using their honesty on how large the house is. So mileage might vary depending on how shifty your clients may or may not be. I hope they're not. But that's how I would do it. And for people who have raised the issue of, is there a way to add mileage? I think this is another way to do that, is to have is to set like a within 10 miles price, within 20 miles price, within 30 miles price, no jobs over 40 miles away, that sort of thing. So that'd be one workaround for that. Everybody okay? Questions? No? Cool. So variance, again, pretty much the same menu you're used to. Couldn't be simpler. Here they all are. One thing we do recommend for folks setting up storefront is to make sure your storefront and packages are working correctly, is to have a test transaction. So you can make a free package, which creates the order in our system. But what we recommend is $1. So with $1 package like this, you can check and see if your payment gateway is working as well. You would only lose the, what, 3% of $1, 3 cents. You'd be fine. We really recommend making sure that gets set up, because that will, if it's not working and you think it's working, you're probably going to lose business. So the $1 package is RTV thumbs up recommended. Questions? Okay, no questions yet. So now what does storefront actually do for me? So once your client has gone through all of these steps, I'm going to select the free package just so I don't have to pay for anything. Oh, looks like I still have the basic package selected, so I'll have to go back and deselect the basic package. And if there was a dollar value associated with this project, it would not let me continue, but because it's free, it's good. So I can hit continue here. Remember, I'm role playing the customer right now too. Oh, I think can't remember what happened. Reset this just to make sure everything's working. Otherwise, I might have to talk to the devs. I'll have to look into that. I wonder if it's just as easy as this. Regardless, ideally, most of your packages are probably going to have a cost, so hopefully you wouldn't get hit by this. Yeah, so you see here, it's wanting me to pay. Not sure why it's not doing that. But I wouldn't worry because, like I said, most folks will be paying for something. Let me sign into a different storefront just to make sure it's still working. We have a couple folks who've already been power using the ordering and invoicing system. And Storefront has only taken it to the next level because you don't have to make the project, you don't have to build them. They basically just do it all themselves. Let me sign in here. Excuse me. Here is Blue Lava's storefront. They are definitely going to be a better reference point. I remember my password. All right, so we got signed in. I don't want to put an order on his account though, so I'm not going to do that. Sorry. I wonder why it's not letting me sign in though. So we had went all the way up to the payment page of the storefront. And I guess it was just not showing me these right away, but it looks like they did go through as in I got orders for them. So I think there's just something going on with that. I'll have to take a different look after this. But so we see the orders were created by the user whomst I signed in as. These do have orders associated with them, or they should. Oh, so it's listed as unfinished. Okay, I see what's going on. I think I made my garage comment on the White House. So I don't think. Yeah, I think that my special orders ended up on that. But it'll go through fine with payment. I think it's just the free ones that need a little checking, things with no payment. But that is the raw introduction to storefront. So there are a couple other things to learn about it. For example, customization. You saw that mine was not exactly the most aesthetically pleasing thing in the world. And I could make it more aesthetically unpleasing if I wanted to. And these changes, happen right away. So call it, yep, top color changed already. I would argue that even looks better. I don't know how I did that. And so then, I've got my hex code here for this color. I could just take it. I can put it here. Boom. Saved. That got bluer. How did that get bluer? How did that get bluer? Oh, the default is blue. I'm with you now. Okay. And then the subheading, background color. Boom. Oops. Boom. 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 Changes. Oh, it changed that too. Oh, it's because I'm trying to change the footer, not the subheading. Anyway, you can customize colors. You can change the messages. You can change everything. I'm going to change that to some probably visually horrific. But that's the sort of raw introduction to storefront. We do only have 3 minutes left of recording time available. So any final questions, now is the time to ask them. But so, yep, I can customize this text, which I just have, hey, welcome to my store, which appears right here. We then also have the support message, which hit me up, which you could see barely right there. The support number, that's going to be right here. God, I'm going to change that. I'm sorry. Subheader background. It's going to be horrible looking. Yeah. Oh, I think that's the one I need to change. Any final questions here, folks? I can change that background photo. As you can see, we do have a maximum size. We have the store name, which I just have store 5 just to show you that it's changed. It's right there. And you can change the colors of pretty much everything. So it's going to be worth your time to go tap through and click all the options. You have other options for the users. So do you want them to be able to set up a new account with you? No, I don't. Do I want them to be able to use a one-time email code? No, I don't. Maybe you might. Copyright section on the link, or password recovery, enable login. So if I wanted them to log in only via email, I could swap it. Log out on embed link. So then you can also add your privacy policies. You can add your terms of service. So that's the storefront's pretty much biggest overview. I just got the 50-second warning. So any final questions here in the last few seconds? You are welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm not seeing any questions, so thanks everyone for coming. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Talk to you later.